What's going on, people?
Hey,
Good evening. It's us again.
it's us again.
We're coming again, sharing our hearts with you.
Yeah.
My name is Wilbert Williams, and this is my lovely wife, Ramona Williams.
Hello.
And we're here with another edition of Love
Love Unscripted.
Unscripted. Yay!
Yeah.
So, we're excited about bringing another thought, another thing that's very dear to our hearts
Yeah.
that we believe is very important in covenant relationships, and that is money, because money matters in marriages. So one of the things that's big to us is communication,
Yeah.
and that's being talking about money daily, talking about finances. Anytime it crosses your mind, sharing it with your spouse, your lovely wife or handsome husband, and keeping it with a uh, communication that really brings results and brings oneness.
Yeah. Because, what I can say is for a large majority of people, I mean, just individually speaking, growing up, money may not have been a topic of discussion. It's not something that was practiced as a method of communicating. So we'll communicate a lot about a lot of other things, but might not communicate about money. So what then happens when you join yourself into a covenant with your spouse is that you might not know how to communicate that information.
No
You
kidding.
it it might be something that is difficult, not because you don't want to, but sometimes it's because you that practice might not have been there from the jump. And so something that we do in our marriage, like my husband is saying, is communicate on a regular basis about money. And we made that a priority, something that we knew from jump that we wanted to make sure that we were open and honest about everything that had to do with our finances. And, just to continue that thought, that communication, it could come naturally and then it could come with work. Depending on how you communicate naturally with your spouse. And it could come with work and an intention behind it. Like we're going to intentionally talk about our finances on a regular basis.
Yes, you have to be purposeful about your finances. You have to be able to assign what direction your finances are going to take your covenant marriage, your relationship with your significant other or spouse, direction it's going to guide you into, because it is one of those things that is definitely a necessity in the home. It's a necessity, but how you handle it is a necessity.
Ooh, you're gonna hit them hard early now. Okay, go ahead.
But what that does is that's kingdom mindset.
Yeah.
You have to be good stewards of your finances. And when that happens, you're no longer two. You're no longer mine. You're no longer yours. It's
two
ours.
Being individuals.
Two.
No longer two individuals.
Exactly. Yeah. Nothing's separate anymore.
Yeah.
And the one thing that has really been a blessing to us is everything that we have.
Everything
is joints. Everything that we have is no longer two, but it is one.
And that includes our finances.
Yeah. And I can tell you that it has been such a gift to us to walk in that frame of mind that it leaves nothing to question.
Right.
And a lot of times, that's one of the things that becomes a concern in covenants. Yeah. Becomes a concern in marriages, and you deal with that right up front. And I can promise you, you will be so thankful, so appreciative that you made the concerted effort to do that right up front. And
because wait, did we mention that finances or money issues in marriage is one of the number one Yeah, it's one of the, I mean,
Yeah.
it's so important. It's a necessity, but it's the
It's the
number
number
one.
one.
It's the number one. Uh, Finish that up. It's the number one issue, struggle that married couples face.
Right. If you go in and I decide to just Google it, it's number
Number
one.
one. Number one.
Exactly. So I believe that the Most High God put it on our hearts to do it early on, to talk about it early on,
Yeah.
to embrace it early on, the open communication, the being one in everything. And I tell you, it's such a blessing. Winners are winners, guys. Winners are winners. And that includes in your finances. It does. When you trust, when you communicate, when everything is one, you don't have the afterthought of what's going on or what has happened.
Right. Do we have enough money?
And where it's coming from.
Where is it going?
Can we pay this bill?
Yeah.
You know, you work together through everything.
Yeah. And then let me say this. If you do, because this is reality, especially if you're early on in communicating about your finances, the reality is you can have those issues. You know, if you have, and then if you've been married for some time, the other reality is you might have those issues because you haven't communicated about your finances together, right? Or someone is over them while the other person might not be so involved in it. But if you are in a situation where, man, things are tight, we don't have an open line of communication, those things can be rectified by becoming one in talking about your finances. And if somebody is, if one person in a relationship, let's say, is more money minded than the other person is, let me tell you, pray about that thing and make an effort to say, look, if this is an area of struggle, it's not just going to go away on its own. It will not. It's something that you have to put effort into, right? And so if one is more into the finances, that one hold it down, until the other one, you continue to pray until the other spouse comes on board, because that's how you make it work. Finances in itself for one person can be a lot. So imagine having the responsibility of a household that other people can manipulate the money. When I say it, not in a negative way, but manipulate the money because of what's going in and what's coming out. And then one person having the responsibility of being, the obligation of being responsible for that, but the other person isn't a part of it. It makes it difficult and stressful. And I think that's where some of the struggle then comes in. And so being able to communicate so that you can knock out debt, so that you can make sure that bills aren't being paid late and you're spending unnecessary money, or one person in the household is spending more money than is necessary, making it, more difficult for your household to be able to operate and function financially in a way that is going to be successful for your future.
One of the things that's important is, as a covenant, you want to have dreams. You each of you have your own individual dreams, and you have goals and aspirations, but your goals and your dreams should be unified. And your dreams should always be predicated to taking the covenant forward, not backwards, forward. And a big part of that is finances. A big part of that is money and how you utilize it, what you designate it to. What are your plans with your finances? Because it's definitely one of those things that is important, but that's a way for things to go south. And we don't want things to go south. We want money matters to go up, and we want the money matters to be given and designated according to the Most High God instructions. And that's unification. That's one accordness. That's walking in agreement.
Yeah.
That's talking about it and making the major decisions that you make in your life, in your covenant, in your lives. Make it walking in agreement as a definite strength to your finances. I hope that really makes sense, because walking as one is so major when it comes to that. Keep in mind that when you're in your own place in the day and you're doing things with your finances, your mind should be not only what you're doing, but what you're doing in finances and how it affects the two, how it affects the unity, how it affects the oneness. So don't get out there and do all kinds of crazy stuff with your finances and not keep in mind that,
is it going towards your goal? Is it, is it impacting your goals, the goals that you have set? Have you set any goals? But in those goals that have been set, are your spending habits, are they going towards your goals or away from your goals?
Are they in consideration of your dreams? Are they in consideration of your agreements?
Yeah, that's good.
Because sometimes we do go outside and we want to, hey, I like this, or hey, I like that, or I want to do this, and then we come into the mindset of, well, I work hard, I do this, but you got to remember, it's about being on one accord. That's a blessing, guys.
It is.
Ladies, spouses, it's a benefit. You become an asset to each other.
Yes. Don't be a liability. Don't be an asset in your marriage. Yes.
Don't be a liability.
Yes. Liabilities are negative. Liabilities detract from the possibilities. But when you're an asset, you are adding to your marriage. And not only are you adding to the finances, I promise you're adding to the finances and what your goals are, but you are adding to the strength of your marriage. And the reason why I say that is because when you have you're one with your goals and you are being an asset, that is giving like strength and power, because it's a joy that comes with it to know that, hey, finances are not a stress or a struggle.
It's not.
And so that's an area that you don't have to worry about. You can come together and eventually talk about, and it's something that, man, we are crushing this. We're doing an amazing job here. And that lets you know what you're capable. One of the things, one of the areas that you're capable of in marriage that happens to be one of the toughest areas.
Yeah.
One of the toughest areas.
I'm telling you.
And it's so possible, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything? If you don't want to say anything else, I would like to just kind of say some of the things that we do that, help us to be on one accord.
Yeah. I would like to say one more thing. When you're walking in agreement, when it comes to walking in agreement, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to walking in agreement concerning money matters in marriages, you learn to trust each other. Trust.
Yeah.
And that trust it becomes an earned trust. It becomes an appreciated trust. And I can assure you that what happens over time, you begin to see those dollars stack. They stack. They stack. They stack. They stack.
Them. Yeah.
And the other thing that stacks, the trust stacks.
Yeah.
The love stacks. The communication stacks.
Come on now. I feel the building of something here.
The pleasure stacks. Because there's nothing left there's nothing there to take away from your day.
Yeah.
There's nothing there to add stress to your day when it comes to finances. So you now walk into a place of peace.
Yeah.
And that is priceless. And it stacks.
Yes,
Peace
I love that.
is priceless.
Priceless.
You're no longer two.
But you're
one.
I love that. Yes.
One.
The peace, that's something, babe.
Yeah.
I know we're talking about money, but it's really at the end of the day, it's really not the issue of money. It's about what you get from handling your money in marriage, the outcome of that. What is the outcome? Having peace, having more time with your spouse, being able to leave a legacy for your children. Things that maybe you didn't get when you were growing up, you can provide that for your household simply by being on one accord with your finances.
Come on now.
With your finances. And it is a possibility. I don't even care what it takes. If it takes both of you taking a class on finances, YouTubing stuff, whatever it is a necessity, and it has to be a priority. Right?
Priority.
So, man, I'm excited from doing all that stacking.
Stack it up, y'all.
I love that image. I love it. So here are some of the things that we do, or have done, continue to do, to make sure that we are on one accord in our finances, and we know that money matters. I remember when we first, before we got married and we were engaged, even before that, we had conversations about just kind of like dreaming conversations of what we expect and, all this good stuff, expectations around money. What do we want our lives to look like? So we get married, get engaged. And I remember a very intentional conversation that we had concerning how are we going to handle our finances? What will that look like? Will they be joint? Yes, we made that decision. There will be everything. And let me say this. Initially, right? You know where I'm going, right?
Go ahead.
So initially, this was my frame of mind. I said, yes, let's have a joint account. And that one joint account will have everything in it where we can pay bills, yada, yada, yada. But then let's have 2 separate accounts, one for him, one for me, where fund money would go into each of those accounts. And, in case I wanted to buy something for him and didn't want him to know about it. And my husband was like, yeah, we need to have a joint account, period, point blank. And
this is truth, y'all.
Yeah, this is
100%.
Yeah, 100% truth. And he gave me his rationale behind it, and I said, okay, because I had, this wasn't new to me. I was like, you think about your wedding, you think about things about your marriage before you get with somebody, and you're like, ooh, this is how I want things to be. So I had already thought this up in my mind, and we had that conversation, which was, think about it, if we had not had that conversation, that initial conversation, I would have always said, okay, I'm having my money over here. He would have this mindset of, I just want a joint account, and already we would have been on 2 separate pages. So fast forwarding it, and I said, okay, I see it your way. So we decided to have a joint account that has, some savings accounts, all that good stuff. Then after we had that, during that discussion, we took some time to start then looking at, okay, how are we going to manage our money? What will that look like? Who will be the person who is I won't say over, but has responsibility. You might have to help me out on this. Has responsibility for, the day-to-day bills and making sure things are paid and in order the way they are. We had that conversation. That was determined. And that was kind of before we even got married, while we were engaged. Let me tell you, as soon as we came back from the honeymoon, we had our time to honeymoon and all this good stuff. We sat down and we talked about our finances, created a budget. And I'm pretty sure there were some things that happened in between that. Oh, yeah, before we did that, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot.
It's okay, guys.
Thanks, babe. I think I'm just really excited about this.
This is huge.
We discussed before we ever created that first budget, and tell me if I'm wrong. We had a let's look at the big picture. Let's look at the big picture. What is it? And this happened, I think, in April. So even though it wasn't January, we didn't wait another 8 months to come around and say, "Oh, let's get it together." Next January, it was in April. We looked at what did we want to accomplish for the rest of the year. Mm-hmm. How are we going to do it in having our money joined together? And I'm going to say this last thing and I'm going to let you jump in.
Okay.
So we took that time and did all the steps, the hoops that we had to take to make sure our money was joined together. And because remember we mentioned at the beginning of these episodes that we came back and we were in the throes of COVID. And so everything changed. It took me 6 months, I think, to get a new Social Security card, right? Mm-hmm. And so it took us months. It took us months to, for the banks to open back up, to get an appointment, to go. But nonetheless, I'm sorry I'm talking so much, but nonetheless, we made it a point to make sure that all of our money was into one account, and that was the beginning of a whole bunch of greatness.
Woo!
Right?
So one of the, you can tell that we're passionate about this, and here's the beautiful part. We hadn't read about this beforehand. I believe it was Most High God just put us in the frame of mind, frame of heart, frame of trust to say, you should be one in everything. And my wife, when she said that, I said, no, we should not have separate anything. Yeah. Everything should be joint. Yeah. And I love that, she's trusting enough to trust the God in me to see where this will take us and to walk in agreement what it is, how it has blessed us. Mm-hmm. And I tell you that what it has done is it has taken away the mindset of separate. Yeah. The word separate should not be a part of your conversation. Yeah. And everything should be unified. Everything should be one. And when it comes to that concern of money that matters in marriages, that right there can be removed. Yeah. Yeah. All because you are one in your finances. Mm-hmm. You are unified. You are together. Mm-hmm. You are in agreement. Mm-hmm. You're one under the Most High God, who is the source of it all. Yeah. Who's the source of it all? Yeah. And I tell you, when you give that type of power to the Most High God, you give that over, because we think money is power. People do that, but money is a tool. And God is the teacher.
And the source.
And the source.
Yes.
Let him tell you how to use it.
Yes.
And you will see down the road, your life will be fruitful. Yeah. He tells us to be fruitful. Your life will be fruitful because of it. Because now the enemy does not have an opportunity to come in between you. And if that's the number one, and that's the number one concern in marriages. And I tell you, we don't have that concern. We don't.
Thank you, Jesus.
We don't.
And I think that's why we wanted to share this with you.
Yes.
Because not to brag or to boast, but to let you know that it's possible. And that reminded me, along that time when we were having those initial conversations, I was very sure that we would have our conversation about money, and we would be able to work through how we wanted money matters to happen in our marriage. But I remember that first conversation, and everything was civil. We had, back and forth. Okay, this is how it should be, yada, yada, yada. But I remember a feeling inside of me, because this is our first major conversation, right? Yes. And I remember a feeling inside of me that had a little bit of anxiety, because, oh my gosh, I hope this goes the way it needs to go for us, right? And so now that anxiety went away. I mean, because literally you're joining two people together and two different frame of minds, and making sure that they come on one accord. And so money is an emotional thing. Don't let that make you shy away from having those conversations that need to happen.
That's well
around
said.
money. It is an absolute emotional thing. So when you were talking a second ago, Bay, it reminded me about, if you need to, well, I probably won't be a if, it will be a you probably will need to. Use the dialogue room, yes, even for your finances. Yes. Because it can be an emotional thing, you have to take the emotions out of it, because you have goals to accomplish. You don't Dreams. Have time to be angry and upset about it. Okay, babe, let's go to the dialogue room. We need to hash this out. We need to figure it out. And I don't care how much time it takes you, but go into the dialogue room, whatever your space is, be open and honest, take the emotions out, and then have a conversation. What are your goals? What are your dreams? Why did God bring you together? And if he brought you together, he is going to finance what your purpose is. He's going to give you the opportunity, but you have to be good stewards of it, so yes, that you can give, yes, so that you can be in a position that if someone needs you, that you can be there, and you can be an example to other people. People look for and need other examples of things that are going well.
Absolutely. Right? Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I strongly suggest that you become one in your finances. Yeah. Completely. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. Joint. Everything joint. Nothing separate. Mm-hmm. You will reap the rewards. Yeah. There's so many rewards, so many blessings, so many benefits that come from being as one in your finances. Money does matter. Yeah. Money matters to God. Money matters to the Most High God. Yeah. But you've got to allow the source of it all to lead and guide you on how to take care of it. Mm-hmm. Be good stewards. Yeah. And you'll see the peace of God within everything, within your finances. It's how you acquire things. It's how you acquire wealth. He gives us the ability to acquire wealth, but you've got to receive the instructions from him and walk as one. I don't know how to express it, from my deepest heart, that is not a concern of ours. Yeah. It's no longer a concern, because we trusted what God placed in our hearts to do. Yeah. We did it. We worked it. We stood firm on it. Yeah. We believed by faith that doing this was going to be according to his will, his instructions, his directions, and it has been such a huge monumental change in our communication, our peace, the way we love on each other. God, guys, ladies, who wouldn't do this? Who wouldn't become one in everything? Because oneers are winners, guys. It's just simple. Yeah. We say it's simple, but it does take work. Yeah. But once you get there, you're so thankful that you did it.
And you continue to practice it. So I know we're getting low on time, but I do want to just mention a couple other things that we do, because we want this to be a benefit, something that you can take away and say, yes, I'm going to incorporate that. Like I say, we budget monthly. That is important. So you figure out what are your goals that you have for your family. What is the income that is coming in, and make a conscious decision to say, I'm going to budget before the money goes out of the house. We're going to make sure we know where we are going with our money, and make adjustments to that. So if what you're currently doing with your money, if it's not, if the plans that you currently have for your money, if it does not lend itself to your goals, then you need to make adjustments, right? So we always have conversations daily. I'll update him. Hey, babe, this is what has happened. Or hey, we realize that hey, we can save some money here.
Mm-hmm.
Then we make those adjustments on a regular basis. The conversation is an ongoing conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a, oh dang it, we need to find money to pay X, Y, and Z, and then we go into figuring it out mode. It is a proactive thing. And you know what? I'm starting to see a theme now that this is we're several videos in, a theme of being proactive and
Yes,
putting
that's
in
good.
work, right? And so we put in the work. We have a system for how we track our money, making sure we're staying on track. That is super, super important. And then at least monthly, we look at, okay, how are we in reaching our goals? Are we staying on track? Are we spending the right way? And then here's another thing that we absolutely do. We come to each other and we talk about, okay, hey babe, X, Y, and Z has come up. Like something may have come up and we want to give to someone, help someone out. We have that conversation with each other and then decide on how much it is, and then we hit the go button. We don't make purchases that are certain amounts that we don't talk to the other person about before the purchase is made, even though and a lot of times it's out of just simple respect, because we know that the purchase needs to be made anyway. 9 times out of 10 the purchase needs to be made, and so, or we know we need to give to something, and so, but it's out of respect for each other because our money is joined. Hey babe, this has come up, I really want to give to X, Y, and Z. Should we do it? How much is that amount? And so those are just some of the basic things that we do. And like I say, we have, and sometimes it is, the conversation is, look, this is my position on this, and we share that information. And it's not always a definite, yeah, let's do that. Sometimes it's like, okay, let's back and forth, let's have a conversation about it. But it's never something that we let our emotions get into. It's always okay, let's talk about it. And then we move forward. It is so beneficial. And not only is it beneficial in our finances, but it's beneficial in other topics that we have to discuss and bring up. So
I love it. I like my wife said. I know the time is far spent.
yeah, but I think well spent.
Agreed. The importance of this video is very, very high, being that when we saw that this is the number one concern in marriages, in covenants, we wanted to share our hearts and our victory over this, and how we work it daily. It's not something that you just you make these adjustments and then you just stop.
Yeah.
It's continual.
Ooh, yeah.
It's continual.
Yeah.
It's not one of those where, okay, well, it's in place now. Okay, now what? No, it's work, it's effort,
yeah,
it's trust, it's all those things. It's that communication, it's staying one, and you'll begin to see the flow of that which God has given you to use in the money, the finances. You'll see that there's just, it's all increase.
Yeah.
You're no longer two, but one. It's increase. It's increase. And this is in the aspect of oneness is increase. You're unified with the Father. You're unified in marriage. You're unified in the order. It's divine alignment. And when you're walking as one, you find that God, He's in the midst, and you put Him in the midst of your finances. You let Him orchestrate what you do, how you do it, how you go about doing it. And I assure you, the benefits, the rewards, everything that happens and comes from it is priceless.
Priceless.
It's just priceless. I don't know what else to say. It's priceless, guys.
I think we've said it all.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
priceless.
I think we said it all. So, is there anything else you want to say? And I'll close it out. Okay, so we hope that this has blessed you, or you know someone that it could bless. And this is every time that we end, we have to speak into your lives. So we specifically speak into your finances. We speak into your ability to communicate with each other. We speak right now that everything that you have set forth, the goals that you have established for your family, for your household, will be met through your work, belief, prayer, and faith. Keep on working at the thing, because it is a possibility. Even if you try today and don't come to a conclusion where your outcome is what it needs to be, I promise you, if you keep working at it, keep loving each other, keep giving each other the respect, the time, the communication, it will happen the way that it needs to happen for you and your family. We speak abundance. We speak prosperity. We thank you that everything that God has placed before you will be yours. We thank you that you will be able to walk in hope and in victory, and that as a couple, as a unit, you will be able to overcome and have those things that God wants for you to have, so that you can advance the kingdom together. Right?
Oh, yeah. Purpose.
Yeah, purpose.
Purpose. His purpose, His will is that all things work together for the good to them who love the Lord, who are called according to His purpose. And He said He shall supply all of your needs. All of your needs according to His riches and glory by Christ Jesus.
Yeah.
You will see that we are passionate about it. And it'll come out in many, many videos about oneness, about walking in the obedience to the Most High God and following His direction. And there's no greater place, no greater place of mind to be, no greater place of heart, no greater place of love to be, than to just be one with the Father, one in covenant, and one with each other, walking in agreement. You're no longer two, but you're one.
Alrighty.
All right, guys.
So we say,
hope to you all, and blessings to you all.
Yes. Take care.
Take care.
And that is all.
Yeah.
Bye.
Oh,
all
my
right,
goodness.
bye, guys.
You guys have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.